Okay, let's just jump right in. Today's explainer completely shatters, and I mean literally shatters, our everyday conventional understanding of perception and reality. We're going to unpack a text that is incredibly ancient, yet somehow feels super modern, almost like quantum physics in how it describes the universe. Like, if you've ever wondered how two people can look at the exact same event and walk away with completely different realities, well, this text has a profound, truly cosmic answer for us. I want you to hold this one central question in your head as we go through this. It's honestly one of the most mind-bending concepts in all of Eastern philosophy. What if ultimate reality isn't some fixed destination you're trying to reach, or some object out there in the universe, but rather a mirror? A mirror that just effortlessly reflects exactly what your own mind, your own karma, is ready to see. The source material we're digging into for this is called the Sutra of the Entry into the Inconceivable Realm of the Tathāgata's Virtues and Wisdom. It's this deeply profound Mahayana Buddhist text, and it was translated into Chinese way back during the Sui dynasty by a master named Jnanagupta. And honestly, it is amazing that we can even study this ancient wisdom today. We owe a huge thanks to the CBTA Foundation for meticulously preserving and digitizing the archives we're drawing from today.
So, part 1. The Cosmic Gathering.
To really wrap our heads around this text, we first kind of need to grasp the completely incomprehensible scale of where this story actually begins. We are not talking about a small, intimate group sitting under a tree here. We're talking cosmic proportions. The text opens in a place called Magadha, and the numbers are just staggering. The sutra literally states there are 620,000 monks gathered around the Buddha, sitting right alongside another 600,000 nuns. Just visualize that sea of humanity for a second. Over 1 million people. But humans? They're just the tip of the iceberg. Because it wasn't just hundreds of thousands of human monks and nuns. There were bodhisattvas present, and the text describes them as being as infinite as dust motes across 10 entire universes. Then you have billions of devas, which are celestial beings, plus nagas and yakshas. So we've got spiritual beings from mythic origins, nature spirits, and deities from across the entire cosmos, all coming together to hear the Buddha. It is a literal multidimensional summit.
Which brings us to part 2, the inconceivable paradox.
So when this infinite massive assembly finally looks at the Buddha, they encounter this truly profound mystery. You know, you totally expect the Buddha to be delivering this booming universal sermon to address all these different factions, right? But the reality is way stranger. The text introduces this concept called anabalga. Basically, that means action without effort, without discrimination, or conceptualization. The sutra tells us the Buddha sits completely motionless. He has zero conscious thought, no agenda, and makes absolutely no deliberate decisions to speak or act. And yet, despite being completely still, he is actively interacting with trillions of beings simultaneously. So how is that even possible? Well, here is the ultimate paradox. In reality, the Buddha is just a single, motionless, silent presence, totally devoid of any conscious planning. But the audience, they experience infinite perceptions. Some beings in that crowd see the Buddha as being 10 miles high, while others see him just as a normal human. Some hear him teaching really basic morality, while others hear him unraveling the deepest mysteries of the universe. Some even see him actively fighting off demons, while the person right next to them just sees perfect, undisturbed peace. It's one single reality, perceived in a trillion completely different ways, based entirely on what the individual observer needs to see and hear. And this fracturing of reality, it even extends to time itself. One being in the crowd might perceive the exact same Buddha as having just achieved enlightenment that very second. Meanwhile, another being sitting right next to them perceives that he actually passed into nirvana 40 eons ago. It is a totally subjective experience of an objective, timeless presence. Pretty wild, right? So, let's get into part 3, the crystal metaphor. I know exactly what you're thinking. How on earth can one single being be all of these wildly different things at the exact same time without even trying? Well, to explain this, the ancient text gives us this beautiful metaphor of a pure sphatika jewel, which is essentially just a flawless, pure crystal. Think about a completely clear crystal. It doesn't have any intrinsic color of its own, right? But if you place it on a red cloth, it shines brilliant red. Put it on a blue cloth, it shines blue. It doesn't ever try to change color, it just effortlessly reflects whatever environment it touches. And it works exactly the same way here. Depending on a specific being's karma, their spiritual readiness, and their own inner nature, the crystal of the Buddha appears differently to them. Some might perceive a pure golden light, others see sapphire or lapis lazuli. Some see blinding fiery light, and others see the incredibly calm, pure light of water. The Buddha isn't deciding to show gold to one person and sapphire to another. He's just the crystal. He's effortlessly becoming the ultimate truth that each specific mind is prepared to receive. All right, part 4, nature's effortless action. The text actually expands on this concept by looking at the natural world, basically proving that perfect, unthinking function happens around us every single day. Take a rain cloud, for example. Just as a massive cloud covers the earth and rains equally on all places, the Buddha's presence reigns equally on all beings. That cloud doesn't consciously decide, you know what, I'm going to water this oak tree, but I'm going to ignore that blade of grass over there. No, the water is completely uniform. It's all one flavor. But when that uniform water hits the ground, it allows entirely different seeds to grow perfectly according to their own unique nature. Or think about the sun. The sun rises over the ocean and up into the sky. It naturally dispels darkness, it dries up the muddy puddles, and it nurtures all plant life equally. And it does all of this perfectly every single day, without ever having a single conscious thought of, I am going to help these plants grow today. It just shines. That effortless shining is the exact essence of the Buddha's inconceivable realm. And finally, part 5, the ultimate merit. So why does understanding this abstract cosmic mirror actually matter to us in the real world right now? Well, the sutra makes a really bold claim here. You could spend endless eons building monuments out of solid gold, or offering heavenly food to billions of people, or even decorating entire universes with precious gems. But the text claims that simply understanding this sutra, like truly realizing that reality is just a reflection of your own mind, yields infinitely more merit. Just feeding a single animal while holding this wisdom in your heart is considered more powerful than eons of blind physical charity. By breaking out of our normal, conventional, rigid ways of thinking, this wisdom basically unlocks boundless spiritual rewards. It says you can experience incredible meditative states, like the ocean stamp samadhi, where the mind becomes as completely calm as an ocean, reflecting everything perfectly. It opens the door to the boundless whirlpool samadhi, the diamond wheel samadhi, infinite incantations, and supreme wisdom and fearlessness. Basically, understanding this text fundamentally rewires how you interact with the entire universe. So, I'll leave you with this final thought to ponder as you look at the world around you today. If the universe, much like the Buddha, is just a pure crystal, if reality simply and effortlessly reflects exactly what you are mentally and spiritually ready to receive, what is your reflection showing you right now? Thanks so much for joining me on this explainer, and keep exploring.